It is a great night for soccer here in the Twin Cities, and regardless of class, it doesn't matter. A, AA, two of the best teams in the state of Minnesota going to take the field tonight. And oh, by the way, they are the best of rivals as the number 1 Blake Bears invade the number 4 Breck Mustangs. I'm Charlie Beatty, joined by Sig Langery. And Sig, always special when these two teams get together. They are section rivals and maybe the toughest section in either A or AA in the state. This is the prelude to maybe a second meeting with a lot on the line later this year.
Oh, I believe that. Absolutely, I believe that. So tonight's match is really going to be for the conference championship between these two teams. And also, wouldn't be at all surprised if they meet up in the section semifinals or the finals. That's the way things are looking right now.
And for the number 1 Blake Bears, of course, coming off a rare thing, a loss for them. First loss in almost over a year. And it was last night against a very good St. Louis Park team, the number 2 ranked team in AA. They turned right around here. This is a tough task for them.
It certainly is. And I was concerned about how they would be reacting to coming back after a tough loss in the next night. But the team was warming up. They seemed to be good. I asked the coach. They seem to be fresh and ready to go. So they're hyped up for this. As you were saying, this is a long history between these two teams, and the adrenaline's going to be sky high.
And the most recent piece of history, last year in the section semifinals, Breck came in without a loss on the season, or rather only 1 loss on the season, pardon me. They were the favored team in the section, lost it in a shootout, so maybe a little revenge on their mind.
Oh, I would imagine so. Considering that Blake went on to win the state championship, boy, they got a bone to pick with them. And like I said, the coach is very, very happy with this team from Breck, even though he lost starters from last year. The team he's got now, he says, it's very well conditioned. They play together well. He's very happy with it. Their defense is solid. And on the other side, Blake, as if you look at the record, a scoring machine for the first 4, 5, 6 games, scoring 8, 10, 12 goals. The last few, they've been a little bit tight, but they've been playing some tougher teams. Both teams can score. Both teams are good on defense. They have excellent goalkeepers. I mean, it's going to be a pick'em game. We don't know who's favorite.
Motivation never a problem for a game like this. 2 of the top 5 teams in Class A in the state. Should be a great one. Blake versus Breck coming up next on CCX Sports.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Beautiful night sky here at McKnight Field in Golden Valley. Charlie Beatty, Sig Langery with you. Breck and Blake will line up this way. First for the Bears in goal, it'll be senior Landon Peterson. Outfield players number 3, Brian Brenner. Number 4, Daniel Lessoff. Number 5, Howard Henderson. Number 7, the high-scoring Benji Pomonis. Number 8 is Keegan James, another double-digit goal scorer this year. Famous name at number 9, Jackson Lagos. Tyler Holmes, number 13. Jake Shapiro, number 15. Zach Lundberg, who normally number 17. He'll wear 12 tonight. And Will Mortensen, who did not play last night, high scorer for this Blake team, will be in the starting lineup tonight. He is number 19. And for Breck, it is Gunnar Evanstad in goal. Coleman McNally, number 3. David Gorman, number 4. Sam Scheideman, number 5. Number 7 is Ralph Smits. Number 8 is Lucas Lewin-Mills. Number 9 is Jake Silverman with 15 goals already this year. Nikolai Ganev, number 10, one of the captains. Number 11, Spencer Chapman. Number 17, Maverick Pink. And number 37, Walsh Kern. And formationally, as I welcome in Sig Langery once again, Sig, effectively a 4-3-3 on both sides, but that formation will shift and adjust throughout the match.
Right, it's almost a 4-3-3 flex. Got to get into it. Sometimes a split on the defense on the diamond type formation. As most teams now are playing that formation, not solid 4-3-3, but get into it as a basic formation and then shift accordingly.
There you look at Gunnar Evenstad, who took over the starter's job this year from Hudson Hacker, who was a great goalkeeper for Breck last couple seasons, and George Stumpfig, the head coach, singled him out when we talked to him before the game, said he's really stepped up and done a nice job in this his senior year. Jake Shapiro is over the ball for the Bears, and we are underway. 40 minutes on the clock between these two teams. The only scheduled regular season meeting this year, and essentially this is for the IMAC title. They're both 4-0 in the conference.
And I guess the other thing we didn't mention at the pregame, both of these teams are going to be high-paced, fast-moving, fast-passing. There's going to be no slow motion in this game.
Early foul. That goes against Lundberg as he clipped Ralph Smits. Smits a little slow to get up, as you see, and free kick for Breck right off the bat. And it's one of those something's got to give kind of nights because both teams score a ton of goals. Neither team gives up anything. In fact, the goal that Blake gave up last night was the first one they'd given up since August 24th.
That's incredible, isn't it? And then before that, they only give up like 2 or 3 goals, single goals in their matches.
They've only allowed 3 all season. Breck last year went through a regular season where they only gave up 3. Then they only gave up 3 in the playoffs. So these two teams stingy and high scoring. Good combination. And that one's floated in and punched back out by Peterson. Waiting for it there is Will Mortensen, who, as I mentioned, didn't play against St. Louis Park last night. 1-0 loss for Blake. Breck's last game was on Monday. They routed Monticello 6-1, and taking one off the beak from close range was Daniel Essoff. And a Blake player nearly put into the bench. You see those covered benches. There's Tomba Johnson, head coach of the defending Class A state champion Blake Bears. Won the game 1-0 in second session of extra time against Bemidji. And if you haven't seen the goal that won it, go online and Google it because it was one of the most spectacular soccer goals maybe ever. Scored by Keegan James. Scored it off the opening restart of the second session of extra time from the center dot.
That's amazing.
Perfect shot in the upper left corner of the net. He's come right back this year wearing the number 8 shirt for Blake, and he has 10 goals on the season. And he is on the ball now with a short touch into the path of Brian Brenner, and that's how to play for a throw-in for Blake. High pace and some physicality here to the first couple of minutes, exactly what we expected.
Yes.
Brenner holding midfield spot, sharing that with James, and he'll drop it off for Howard Henderson. One of the best defenders in the state of Minnesota, was on the early preseason watch lists for Mr. Soccer.
The one thing you'll see a lot of this match is already evident is a lot of 1-2 touch.
And not a lot of running with the ball. As I say that, here's Will Mortensen trying to make a charge, but he lays it off.
Yeah, if you try to get more than 2 or 3 touches, somebody's going to be all over you.
Brenner laying it back for Lundberg at that right back spot. He'll swing it across for Henderson. Trying to feed it through the middle for James. Now Jake Silverman, high-scoring junior for Breck, and they have a lot of juniors, and George Stumpfig before the game said he thought this was one of the best classes of players he's ever had, which is really saying something at Breck.
Is. Yeah, it certainly is. He said he's got a lot of depth and the skill. And he also mentioned that the junior teams coming up look very promising.
Had to replace a lot of starters from a year ago, but he said it not a huge deal because their JV team didn't lose a game last year. And they've stepped up in a big way. Nice turn there by Ralph Smits. He's in the middle with Nikolai Ganev. Here's Maverick Pink, who was a late addition to the starting lineup for Breck tonight. Normal defender Nassim Kushner, number 12, who missed school today 6, so can't play in the match. Laid up the line by Tyler Holmes into the path of Jackson Lagos. Jackson out of that famous Lagos family. Buzz is his grandfather. Manny is his father. Jackson, a sophomore on this Blake team.
Not to date myself, but I used to watch Manny play when he was a kid in the USA Cup.
Mortensen
Blake
able to ride a challenge through the middle, and another one. And a little bit of a grab there from one of the Breck defenders as Mortensen, not sure what was bothering him last night, why he sat out, but he looks fine here as Keegan James wanted to start this quickly. 40 yards out.
Good time for a set play here. See if they flood the forwards.
3 in the wall here, despite the fact that this ball's from 40 yards. I mentioned this is a player who scored from the center spot last year to win a state title. So Breck's done its homework, and a rather comfortable save for Evanstad in the end. Swung wide for Pink. Picked off by Mortensen. To have 3 players who scored double-digit goals in a season at the high school level with such a short season is incredible. Blake already has 3 players who have done it. Breck, as I mentioned, has Silverman, who has 15. They've got a bunch of players with 3 or 4 as well. This is high-scoring groups.
And I think that time foul goes to
This time it's against Blake. Yep,
Blake,
there
yep.
is George Stumpfing, longtime head coach here at Breck. Really likes this team. Of course, that always comes with a qualifier for both of these coaches because of the section they're in, which is just a murderer's row to get into it and get through it, because you've got Totino Grace, you've got a handful of other really tough teams in there. We don't say Margaret's has been good. De La Salle's having a fantastic year this year.
Right.
The top 4 in this section could probably be the state semifinalists, and no one would bat an eye, but only one of them can go. Last 2 state title winners at Class A came out of this section. Totino Grace 2 years ago, and Blake last year.
Well, that's the problem with Section 5. It's grown up these teams, and they're all been doing very, very well with their feeder programs. So now you have 4 or 5 teams, as you said, any one of them could be playing in the state tournament.
Benji Pomonas for the first touch, cut out by Pink. Good for Walsh Kern. Breck trying to work up the far side. Ganev crowded by Brenner. Trying the long ball towards Silverman. He's got Henderson right on him, and foul called against Henderson, who went to the turf. And now the official changes his mind and says it's against Silverman. Might have just pointed the wrong direction. Just 1 shot on target for either team so far. That was off the long free kick from James. Brenner heard the shout there as Silverman was trying to sneak in, and now Henderson listed as an attacker officially on the Blake roster. Saw a few of their games last year. I don't think I've ever seen him play up the field. Position sometimes just a suggestion is skipping past is Ralph Smits. If he can keep it in play, which he does, or did he? No, he didn't. Just a little bit heavy with that touch as he tried to take off up the line. We've seen him make a couple of speedy runs up this left wing already. Smits, another one of those guys with a handful of goals this year. He has 4 for Breck. He also has 8 assists, which is about 2 seasons worth in half a season.
That's one thing I always look at these with the players forwards. They have a pretty good collection of goals scored, but I also look at the number of assists. That tells you a lot about the way they play.
Especially because for the casual soccer fan, assists in soccer are actually not that easy to come by.
No,
it has to be a direct pass.
Right.
Can't pass it to somebody, have them run 30 yards, and then put it in. That wouldn't count.
Exactly. It shows they have ingenuity, and they're smart. They know how to get the ball to the right person. See Coach Tom Johnson not happy with that transition.
This one chipped into the box towards Silverman. First touch brings him back into the crowd. Trying to lay it off for Ganev.
Well, that Blake defense has been stalwart back there. Nobody breaking in the ranks. They're standing back there, playing their position, and doing a great job with the takeaways.
Smits once again chipping it over the top, but that one's easy for Landon Peterson to handle. Going to see the game's first substitution in a moment. It will be for Blake. Casey Shoemate is going to come into the game. Tom Johnson mentioned Breck lost a handful of players. So did Blake. And he compared this year's team to last year's and said maybe not as deep, right, but that starting 11 really talented.
Yeah, what he lost in depth, he gained in skill. And if you don't believe that, take a look at the number of goals they have scored in the first 4 or 5 games.
Some of the results that Blake's had this year: 8-1, 10-1, 12-0, 9-0, 6-0 game, a 5-0 game. And they did not allow a goal from August 24th, a game which they won 10-1, until last night against a St. Louis Park team that is ranked number 2 in Class AA. Only Edina is higher. These two teams with 3 losses between them, and the common theme is the teams are really good that have beaten them.
Yes,
Breck's 2 losses this year to Holy Angels, who are in the top 5 in Class A, and Edina, who are the number 1 team in AA.
Right.
Dangerous ball here, and Evanstad is out. Keegan James, the trigger man there again. He was trying to drop that onto the foot of Daniel Lesoff. Silverman now with a little space as the defender fell down, but Ganev was offside. Both of these teams have played twice in the last 5 days. Both played on Saturday.
That's a lot.
Yeah, Breck beating Benilde St. Margaret's Saturday, and Blake beating Matamita. Even for kids this young, we always say high school kids, they bounce back, play again later that day. Sometimes, yes. Good run here by Lagos, and sliding out is Evanstad. Albert Pink showing a little bit of interference there for his goalkeeper to get to that ball legally.
Came out there and smothered the ball. Nice outlet distribution.
Battle along the near side. Throw in belongs to Blake as the 2 number 7s, Pomonis and Smits, coming together. Now Shoemate will come into the game. He's going to take the place of Tyler Holmes, it looks like. Oh, pardon me, no, he comes on for Lundberg. And the throw in here for the Bears. Blake has brought a decent traveling section here just up the freeway, just down Highway 100, 169, I guess. Blake's a little closer to 169. They are sitting right in front of us. Or standing right in front of us is more accurate.
Yeah, they
Not a lot of sitting.
The student section is standing. And the voices are being heard.
Same can be said of the Breck fans, but they are down to our left. Goal kick here for Gorman. There, the Blake student section. Toughest part about the loss for them last night is they actually played most of that game a man up. St. Louis Park had a player red carded. The Orioles, very tough team. A lot of people expect to see them competing for a state title this year. Last year's winner at the AA level from the boys' side, Stillwater, their 2nd title in 3 years. They're struggling a little bit this year, so might open the door for some others.
Well, it's kind of a good thing because the parity in soccer these days is just amazing.
Especially by conference. Just take AA, for example. You have Stillwater winning last year, Wayzata the year before that, Stillwater the year before that. The 2 years before that was Anoka.
It's all over the map.
3 teams, 3 different conferences, 3 different parts of town. Some other sports are dominated by certain parts of the Twin Cities, but not soccer.
No, not anymore. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, there was some domination, especially on the girls' side. But now that's evened up also.
Stretch that a little further, the AA level. Go back before those 2 Anoka titles, North St. Paul.
Yeah, the Polars, yes.
Daniel Lesoff plays the long ball through the middle, looking for Lagos. Gorman leaves it, and it's cleared by Coleman McNally, playing the left back spot, only as far as Lesoff. It's away from a couple of challenges, but Breck able to deal with it defensively. Again, both of these teams very stingy, and some good build-up play now. And here comes Walsh-Kern with space. Smits is onside, got Silverman in the middle, lays it across, a little bit behind him, but waiting there for it is number 11, Spencer Chapman, the junior, makes it 1-0 Breck. Now Chapman's having himself a good week. He scored twice against Monticello on Monday. 3 of his 4 goals in the last 3 days, and that one was about as easy as they'll get. Great setup by the Mustangs.
Perfect setup. Brought the ball down. You see it, here he comes on the near side, sizing up the keeper, sees where his teammate is. There's a little flick pass back to Chapman, and he buries it. Excellent play.
Don't know if Chapman shouted, but give Silverman credit. This is a guy with 15 goals. A lot of players might just take that ball and say, this is my job. He let it go.
That's what we just talked about a few minutes ago. He was able to give it that heel kick to it right to Chapman's foot, and he knew he was going to be wide open.
Into the path now of the dangerous Benji Pomonis. Not only has 13 goals, but 6 assists this year. He has 4 multi-goal games, 2 hat tricks, and a 4-goal game, number 7 in white. There's the goal scorer tonight, Spencer Chapman, a junior, his 4th of the year. Becomes the 4th Breck Mustang with 4 goals this season. That does not include Silverman. That's exactly 4, and look at that finish. Still have to put it away, even if it is right on a plate for you, and he did that with authority.
Yeah, there was no doubt that ball was going to go into the back of the net. Foul against Blake.
Lucas Lewin Mills, captain, one of the captains, standing over it, plays it short. Taken away by Pomonis. He wants to set Mortensen away. Or excuse me, now Mortensen arriving in the middle, and Lewin Mills got back to cut that off, and it's cleared out for the game's first corner. It will belong to Blake. Jake Shapiro is on the far side, who created the turnover. Don't want to get caught in possession against either of these two teams. They will hurt you.
Yes, they will. Set plays are always dangerous, but with these teams, it's very dangerous.
Matthew Carlson comes into the game for Blake, taking the place of Tyler Holmes. Jackson Lagos, sophomore, over the ball here on the corner. In swinger on the right foot. That is dangerous, and Henderson attacking that back post and just missed it.
It was a little bit deep, but also very dangerous. You'll see it again. Lagos with a nice high corner. It's on just on the other side of the goal area. A little bit shorter, that would have been a good header opportunity.
Might be about as perfect a corner as you can take from Jackson Lagos. Too far out for a goalkeeper to come get, but by the time it comes down, it's right on the line. Best chance of the game for the Bears, who trail 1-0. Again, just the 4th goal they've allowed all year, but the 2nd in 2 days. And a loss tonight would mean a lot more to the Bears than what happened last night. Play a Double-A team. It is what it is. You want to win, but it doesn't really affect you. This is not only a Class A team, they're in your section, they're your biggest rival, and it's for a conference title.
Right.
And they're just as good as you are, the Breck Mustangs.
That's true. There's not a whole lot of difference in terms of the parity of these two teams.
Lewin Mills wins that battle in midfield, and now a player down. I believe that's James. A bit of a late whistle there. Excuse me, that was Lagos who was down.
Oh my, you don't want to lose him.
I'm not sure that there was much of a foul. It looked like he stubbed his toe on the turf. Doesn't mean it hurts any less.
Either that or he stepped on his ankle on the way. But he's coming off.
That's what you worry about with these games in quick succession.
Injuries, yeah.
Players do have fatigue, and it's harder to shake those knocks off.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Mr. Lagos as he comes over to the sideline for attention.
Holmes comes in to take his place. It's a really tough stretch for Blake. Mentioned St. Louis Park last night, this game tonight. Then they play Holy Angels on Saturday.
Yeah. No easy feat there either.
No. Next week they'll play Orono. It's on Monday night. Orono always a tough team. Of course, a state title recently for them in Class A. Ball given back to the Mustangs. Sevenstad plays it along. Silverman with the flick on. He was looking for Walsh Kern. Kern has it back. Now Chapman trying to get to the byline against Henderson. Out of play, goal kick, well defended there by the senior Howard Henderson.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's that defense back there being very stalwart.
Kern wins the header. Chapman again stepping up on him. This time was Brenner. Interesting to see how Breck plays here with the 1-0 lead. They haven't really slowed down at all.
No, they're not going to slow down. That's not their game.
Flying in there was Ganev on Lesov.
That's what we were saying earlier. You can't stand there with the ball. Somebody's going to come and take it away, and here they did.
Lesov, this time it's Silverman, and now it's Smits. Back to the middle. Silverman, it's 2-0.
Same setup. You see it coming.
And it's been wiped out. They were offside.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it's going to be on Smits. They're pointing to the near side of the field. This is the flag angled up. That's the far side for the referee's assistant over there.
Yeah, near side for us.
And Smits went early.
That was the same setup. It was beautiful. Timing was a little off. That's Melinda Mathis is over there on the far side.
Let's watch this play.
Watch this again. Right there.
Looked like a good call. A little hard to tell from down the line, but the closest defender to him was probably Henderson, who's on the far side, and it did look like he was ahead of him by a yard. Foul here against the Mustangs. Motion picking up in this game a little bit as James was fouled. In shooting range here.
Well, put him a little bit further. They're about 41 yards out.
One goal on the board for the Mustangs, one wiped out by what looked like a very good offside call. James will chip it in. Evanstad was coming out to attack it, but it was headed away anyway by Sam Scheidemann, number 5. James once again can't get it through the defense. Another tough ball. Silverman was lurking. Down the line by Smits, but out of play. And appreciative fans on both sides. Lesov coming off, and on comes Zach Lundberg. James in the middle, settling it down on the turf. Kern, good run. Silverman.
Nice return pass.
Kern again opens up a little bit of space for himself. Got a skipper, and Peterson got across to save it. But Kern did a lot with that shot. That ball was underneath his body. Got some good pace on it. Ball maybe a foot or two out in front of him, and he's really able to put something on that, but he certainly tested Peterson. So you see this first half flying by. More than half over. Very entertaining action here. 1-0 Breck. They've had a goal called off because of an offside just a moment or two ago. Would have been Silverman's 16th of the year.
Well, we said at the top of the game that this is going to be fast action, and it's just that.
Here comes Mortensen, and well defended there by David Gorman, but on the second try,
Hooked his
he
foot.
caught a piece of Matthew Carlson.
Yeah, hooked him right over the ankle.
And this is certainly in shooting range, especially if you have a left footer out there.
You see, there's the hook right there. Missed the ball and got the ankle instead. And you're right, this is dangerous territory.
Pomonis over it, Henderson over it, and Pomonis.
Well, let's see if they try and aim it off to the left, get a header going, or just go right to the keeper and try and get a rebound.
4 in the wall for the Mustangs.
I'm going to guess they're going to go to the left, look for a header.
Evanstad trying to set that wall. Pomonis surveying the scene. Great shot right there. You can see exactly what he's looking at.
Yep.
Plays it low. What a stop by Evanstad. Henderson right on the doorstep. Well, that is certainly a training ground worked set piece by Blake, and Evanstad save of the night so far.
Keeps it on the ground and just getting that foot save right here.
Not sure that
Deflects
any
it.
of the Blake players actually touched it.
No.
But that doesn't make it any less dangerous. Here's toward the near post. Cleared out by Gorman. Throw in for Blake. A little confusion. Now the official says it's Breck's ball. Blake was certainly playing for the throw-in over there. Now it's Blake's ball.
Well, you can always try, right?
Mustangs are going to get a couple of substitutions. Coleman McNally is going to come back in a moment. Callum Bristow, a sophomore forward, will make his first appearance. Long ball, Carlson trying the back heel and earns another corner. And the official's going to show a yellow card here to one of the Mustangs. I think it's going to be Lewin Mills, who kicked the ball away. You see the Mustangs trying to plead their case. Lucas Lewin Mills, the junior captain, number 8. I think trying to say that I put it out of play because there was another ball right there, but there really wasn't. .24 to go. The intensity really is picking up in this game after that goal and some of the physical clashes we've had. Blake right now is not all that happy with where Cole Kopishki is standing. So he needs to be 10 yards off. And that ball ran out of play. Keegan James just touching it over the line, trying to get around Kopishki, and I think he's still saying Cole Kopishki was too close.
Yeah, I think he has a valid argument there.
Three substitutions now for Breck. Drew Silverman. You see the youngest player in this game by a lot. He is an 8th grader. These are schools where you see an 8th grader playing at a public school. It means they don't actually go there yet. Here they do. They're actually in the same building. Jake Silverman is coming over to the bench, and I think he might have a cut. No, just coming over for water, is the official talking to Tamba Johnson and his staff.
The center referee for this match is Peter Hoafneg.
He's had a lot to do so far.
Yeah, he's been pretty busy. Franz Verslewis is the AR1, and AR2 is Belinda Mathis. You mentioned her before.
Not sure what that discussion was exactly about, but the official was giving a motion like everybody's talking too much.
Okay. Too much arguing with the referee.
A foul called here on Callum Bristow, just checked in. Lucas Lewin Mills is on a yellow card for Breck. I don't know if that's going to be the last yellow card we see tonight, the way these two teams play each other. He's physical. Once again, it is Keegan James over the ball, and he puts in another dangerous one, and it's in again! 1-1. I mentioned the goal in the state title game. This time Evanstad came for it, didn't get it. Carlson was pressuring, but I think this one belongs to number 8. When the Bears fans celebrate, James immediately wanted to get back to business.
See it again, high, just past the keeper. Oh, Peterson just not able to backpedal fast enough. You see it again. Watch the keeper right there. Nope. He's trapped behind the players and couldn't get back.
That's such a tough ball for a goalkeeper to deal with, because if he doesn't come out for it, their body's right there. Who knows where it can go? And that's what a player like James can do. He just puts players under pressure. We've seen the free kicks already doing that tonight. Now he scored the now famous goal in the state championship game last year, and that one was similar to it.
That was pretty spectacular. Blake now with the free kick.
It's about 55 yards on that goal. So we're even up with 12-13 to go in the first half. Just what we expected, right, Sig?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think we're done.
Dangerous ball here for Pomonis. Great touch, and he just screwed it wide. What a play to set it up. And we saw earlier, left foot might be his stronger foot. We don't exactly know who's what.
You see it again. Nice kick there. Just a little bit too much power on it, and it went off to the right side of the goal area. So Blake now putting some pressure on.
Jackson Lagos was right up there with him. Good to see Jackson back on the field after looked like he stubbed his toe in the turf a little earlier. Also back in Daniel Lesoff. Called for the foul there. Like I said, this is the only scheduled regular season meeting between these two teams, but they are in the same section. There's a decent chance they could play each other.
Yes, there is more than a decent chance.
And that will be a game you do not want to miss. It was a great game last year. Won by Blake on penalties. Kern trying to go over the top of Carlson. Carlson shielding the ball and winning the free kick.
Breck elevated to the double digits now on fouls. That's number 10. That's not a knock. That just shows you how intense this game is.
Also shows you how difficult it is to handle this Blake attack. You could say the same thing about the Mustangs. Right. You could say pretty much anything about one of these teams and it would be true about the other as well. That's how even they are.
Exactly.
That's what makes a game like this so much fun. It's very hard at the high school level to find perfectly even matchups. They just don't really exist. This is one of them. Mortensen. Strong foot in there by McNally. Over the top they go for Pomonis. The flag stays down.
Play goes on.
Lewin Mills with the clearance. Pomonis has to chase this down, and it will be another Bears corner.
They're fourth after a sluggish start. The thing that I've noticed is on both sides, every player seems to be so quick in reaction when the ball is touched by the opposing player. As soon as somebody touches the ball, there's a player immediately goes toward him.
Pomonis will get a breather as in comes Jake Shapiro. This corner floated out towards the penalty spot. Shapiro was the closest to it, just couldn't get ahead on it. Back out for Lundberg. He has to go further back. Casey Shoemate and 2 Breck attackers near him. Now Henderson. Body to body with Lewin Mills.
No foul call. That was just incidental contact.
Shoemate. Lagos in a tight area with 3 blue jerseys there. Now Kern. Henderson. Lost out that time to Drew Silverman. And a sandwich there. Jackson Lagos has had a tough night physically.
It's been physically tough on him. He's taken a lot of bumps and bruises.
Great atmosphere for this game here. Not your average Wednesday night regular season atmosphere here at Breck. This is good crowd, very vocal.
Good look there at number 9. That's Jackson Lagos. And now here comes a free kick for Blake.
Once again, it's James.
Wow.
He's going for it again. Building himself a legend. Well, if you can do it, why not try it?
Yeah, why not? If it'll work once, it can work twice.
And the goal he scored was probably not intended as a shot in and of itself. It's a byproduct of the ball. It might go in. He put it exactly where he wanted to.
But that's what makes these free kicks so crucial, because you can be 40, 50 yards out and they still get the ball way down there, almost on net. Here's an opportunity for Breck again.
Silverman and Henderson steps in, and then a curler toward the back post, and coming out is Peterson. Ganev was lurking. Lundberg with time to think about it. Downfield looking for Carlson, who's been a nuisance since he came on, and he collides with Evanstad, and now Evanstad and Lagos will have words. And like I said, we're going to see more cards.
Well, that was an offside call, by the way, and the yellow card is awarded to Mr. Lagos.
Carlson never slowed up, and the goalkeeper is well within his rights to protect himself.
So the flag's already up. Keeper has the ball. He may have said something, and then Lagos comes in and shoves him. Not that unexpected, right? Here it is again. Deep ball, offside, clearly. And
So
the
Lagos got the yellow out of all that shove.
And
Tamba Johnson wants an explanation.
yeah, referee Wolfnick coming over, explaining it to Coach Johnson.
And in the area, goalkeepers are afforded a lot of leeway. I'm speaking from experience there. I used to do this, and you can get away with pretty much anything as long as you're inside that 18-yard box in the name of defending yourself.
Right, but I think Coach Johnson was arguing the fact that it was offside. That play should have been called.
Well, if it wasn't offside, Evanstad still claimed the ball, so there's not a whole lot of argument to be had.
No.
And you fight for every inch in a game like this when you're a coach on the sidelines.
You have to get in there and fight for your team. And bringing the ball back to where the foul was called.
Pretty uneventful first half, isn't it? Here with 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, nothing to do, huh?
And we still have a much more tense second 40 minutes to come as Silverman looks for the flick on and comes back to the goal scorer, Chapman.
Well, I don't know. We still got 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Anything can happen. Here comes an opportunity for Breck to try and bring it in from the outside, and they do. Headed down nicely by the defense.
Lesaw with a clearance. Monas flicks it on, but no one running in behind him. Mortensen charging down the defender, though.
Wow, that was almost one-on-one.
Scheidemann there was the one who nearly got caught. The defenders can't take a second off in this game.
That's what I was saying. The reaction time of these guys is just phenomenal.
Ball cleared over the fence into the weeds over there. There's some tall grass behind that fence. That one might be hard to get back. And there's Ganev, and that ball just leaked out.
Offside.
Throw in on the far side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize they went over one of the 3 lines over there.
Yeah, you do have to pay close attention on a field like this. They've got, of course, football lines. There's also lacrosse lines, and there are 2 different sets of lacrosse lines for both boys and girls. So there's a lot of lines out there. We are interested in the ones that are yellow.
Yes.
Except at midfield. Multiple sports on the same field at the high school level has done a lot for the paint business.
And the chunks of rubber.
Yes, the crushed up tire industry.
Oh, here's a. Ooh, I thought that was going to be a collision.
.434 remaining. James looking for a corner run out of Jake Shapiro. Instead, it's back for Holmes, and Holmes is fouled by Lewin Mills, who, remember, is one of the players with a yellow. Jackson Lagos also with one. James going along, looking for Carlson again. Well, don't forget to vote for the CCX Sports Play of the Week. Each week we choose 4 top plays, and you, our viewers, vote to decide the Play of the Week. To vote, go to ccxmedia.org, then click Sports and Play of the Week. And brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Maple Grove. We've seen a couple goals tonight that might get on the list. Not to mention a pretty good save from Gunnar Robbinsdale earlier on.
Yeah, I can think of 3 or 4 that were outstanding already. Breck bringing the ball back.
Kern, time to turn and survey the scene, but Lundberg cuts his ball out. Clears it into the Breck bench with 3 minutes to go in the first half. That ball did go out of play despite the efforts of Tyler Holmes. Even matchup between these 2 teams. The amazing stats about it. Blake has actually not beaten Breck in a regular season game in 6 years, which is something that surprised me when I looked into it.
Yeah, that surprised me when you told me that stat.
Before last night, they had a 19-game win streak and a 22-match unbeaten streak. Oh, as 2 defenders collide. Here's Carlson, a deflection, and Blake leads it 2-1.
Oh, there's something you don't see. The defense making a mistake.
Second of the year for Carlson, his first since the 7th of September, and just a little miscommunication. And the shot went off a Breck player in the end as well.
Here's the miscue right there. 2 defenders get into each other, and then just a nice shot. The deflection got it in there.
Might actually have been an own goal in the end. I'm not sure if Carlson's shot would have been on target.
It deflected. I don't think there was a Blake player there. That could have been a defender. We'll have to see that again. Under 2 minutes in the first half.
A bad break defensively. It did look like it hit off David Gorman last, just trying to make a play. And you have no idea if that one would have gone in had he not touched it. Free kick here for Breck. After a slow start, the Bears rallied for two. Carlson's been involved in both, challenging the goalkeeper on the first one, scoring the second one. Ganev over this from 40 yards out. Toward the back post looking for Silverman. Peterson once again opts to punch it out.
Not sure if I'd want to do that.
Foul called against Lewin Mills again. He collided with, looked like Brenner that time. Again, the Mustangs at one point looked like they had a 2-goal lead. Now they find themselves one behind. Long way to go in this one, however. McNally bottled up along the far side. It's a throw-in for Blake with 36 seconds remaining. Shapiro now for the Bears. Crowded out by navy blue jerseys, but still has it. And back on it for a third go. Eventually cleared to Ganev with 13 seconds on the clock. Not a lot of time for Breck. They'll have to break quickly, and Mortenson's not going to allow that to happen. Now Silverman. Smits won't have time to get the shot in as it's cleared away by Casey Shoemate, and that assures that the #1 team in Class A will go into the break with a 1-goal lead in a first half that was about as entertaining as you can get, Sick.
It's been fun. It's been end-to-end action, no slowdown, no pausing except for the scores and the injuries, but it's been end-to-end action and very exciting.
A lot for both coaches to talk about. Breck got the first one. That came in the 15th minute from Spencer Chapman. And the next two for Blake, one from Keegan James and one from Matthew Carlson, who of course had a big hand in the first one as well, challenging the goalkeeper. 2-1 at the end of the first half. Blake over Breck. A lot more to come on CCX Sports.
You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Two-1 Bears here at the home of the Breck Mustangs at the half. And let's take a quick look at how we got here. A very entertaining first half, Sig. And it was Breck that got off to the early start. Some really nice build-up play on their goal.
It's a perfect setup on the left side. Watch the return. Kick, the heel kick, and then bingo, right into the open net. Just like the practice set.
Blake was down early, but they were dangerous all half. This one didn't go in, but this is a great corner. Lagos just missing Henderson on that play. And Breck had a chance to double the lead here. There was the offside. It was against Smits. This cutback eventually ended up with Silverman. We thought it was 2-0.
Right.
That did not last long.
And it was the same setup as the first one.
And then it was Blake's turn to get on the board. Keegan James, who knows a little bit about long-distance goals, got one here with a little help on the interference run by Matthew Carlson. Was able to make a nuisance of himself in front of goal. And they weren't done as Blake just continued to challenge. Pomonis here nearly made it 2-1. just wide of that near post. And then finally, after some confusion, Carlson did make it 2-1. He got a little help as the two defenders came together. It might have been an own goal in the end for Breck, but either way, Blake has the lead.
Well, we knew it was going to be a fast-paced game, and it's been all that and then some. Looking at the stats, Breck with 5 shots, 4 on goal, 13 fouls and 0 corners. And Blake with 6 shots. My mistake, it's supposed to be 4 shots on goal for Blake, 5 fouls and 4 corner kicks. So not many corners for Breck, but they haven't really needed them. Their setups have been very, very solid.
And that number that really sticks out on there is that number 13 on the foul count next to Breck. They've had to deal with relentless pressure. Blake has come at them, and they have been forced to commit fouls. A yellow card apiece. Jackson Lagos for Blake. Lucas Lewin-Mills, a captain for Breck. So there you see a lot of interesting stats in that first half. Some great highlights as well. 40 minutes still to come. Just around the corner. 2-1 Blake as Tom Johnson talks strategy at the half on CCX Sports.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Those were your options for plays of the week. For my money, hard to beat a one-handed interception, especially such a well-choreographed celebration afterwards for the Robbinsdale Armstrong Falcons. Here we've got 40 minutes left. Charlie Beatty, Sig Lagery upstairs. Our CCX crew dotted all over this place. In the truck, up top, down on the field, covering this one from all angles. Walsh Kern over the ball to start us off for the Mustangs, who will go left to right in this second half, trailing by a goal. Uncharacteristic defensive breakdown for Breck on that game winner. I think that's probably what will frustrate them more than anything, what they talked about at halftime. Should be noted, we talked about this at the Open, they are without one of their regular defenders, Nassim Kushner, who is out sick today. It was always one of the most interesting things about high school sports is how quickly your friends would get healthy when it was game day.
Yes.
If you don't go to school, you can't play. And so for Nassim, if he's sick today, you know he's really sick.
Oh, especially a big game like this.
Lewin-Mills, good one-touch pass there by Kern, just into the feet of Silverman. One back by Ganev, another 1-2 with Kern. Quick ball movement.
Yeah, it's moving the ball very nicely.
A little heavy on that last one from Kern, but he was the focal point on all of those.
But you see those nice crisp passes going from player to player and right on target.
And if you're George Stumpfig, I'm guessing that you really like seeing that. Your team comes out with an attacking intent right away, down a goal.
You want them to start applying some pressure right off the bat.
Kern once again couldn't hold that one in. Lewin-Mills trying to connect over there with Ralph Smits, who was very dangerous in that first half. Set up one goal, and it looked like he had set up a second. It's just flagged for offside by maybe a half yard.
Yeah, it was close, but it was a good call by the assistant referee.
Mortensen with the layoff.
Blake trying to get on track in the second half. Breck's been dominating in terms of possession. Here, finally, break.
Counter opportunity here for Shapiro. Looking for a reversal towards Pomonis. Robbinsdale out there with Maverick Pink in the area as well, and that was nearly a miscue. Stepping up on the other side is Tyler Holmes. Brand new goalkeeper, 4 new defenders this year for Breck as well. And it's only been 10 games. It takes a while to really gel together as a unit.
Especially on defense, because there's so much communications that needs to be done between the keeper and the defenders.
For a new goalkeeper too, he takes time to develop in a game situation. You can practice all you want, which balls you can get to, which ones you can't.
Like the one we saw where he was backpedaling it just a little bit too far out. And you know that.
And if you're a head coach like George Stumpfig, you'll take some of those mistakes now.
Yeah.
And a learning experience, and if he's got it down when section play starts, you got yourself a dangerous goalkeeper. He really likes the way Evanstad's played this year. He might have to deal with something here as Jackson Lagos stepped into one, but right into the chest of the senior goalkeeper.
Nice punt over the midfield.
Certainly got a good foot on him on the restarts for sure. James, dangerous ball. Pomonis onto this, and a great play by Gorman to come across and cut it out. Both players are down. Again, a collision there, and maybe Pomonis took one up high.
Yeah, I think he got one right in the head.
That's a bad break. Certainly not a foul in that situation, but it doesn't hurt any less.
Just a collision right here. See both of them going for the ball.
It might be the landing more. Oh, right there.
Yeah, right in the back of the head. Ouch. Again, that's a incidental contact. And now calling for a timeout to tend to Pomonis.
Again, he has 13 goals this year. We saw him with a very dangerous chance in the first half. He's a key player for this Lake team. It was pointed out to us, and this is probably true for a lot of these guys. These two, if you're wondering if there's any ill will there, they're club teammates. So no is the answer.
Yeah, that's incidental contact. Both of them going for the ball. No foul called. No foul intended. And you know Gorman feels bad for him too.
Yeah, it looks like Gorman, you can tell, feels bad about that.
We should remind people that a lot of these players, if not most of them, know each other from club play, summer leagues, tournaments. So they all know each other.
See how visibly upset Gorman is as Pomonis heads off.
He looks a little bit dazed.
That's not a good sign for Blake.
Yeah, but he is walking on his own. They'll take him over and give him some checks, make sure he doesn't have a concussion.
Looks like he was saying to his teammates he's all right. At this point, it's not necessarily up to him, however.
No.
They did call a foul on that, which I'm actually a little surprised by.
Yeah.
What's the decision here? The officials trying to sort this out. It looked like it was just a whistle for an injury.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There was no foul on the play.
So if it's a timeout for injury, then he should probably just drop the ball. Now he's getting conference with AR2 Belinda Mathis.
I never saw a whistle for a foul.
I didn't either.
And there shouldn't have been one. As unfortunate as the injury is, it actually happened after the clearance. A ball that Gorman actually got to first.
Now coming over and checking with AR1, France Versluis.
They're not going to check with us.
No,
but we do have all the angles.
We have the angles, but we can't read lips. I'm glad he did take the time to make sure he got the right call.
We'll see what that call is. It should be uncontested drop ball.
Yes.
And it should be given back to Breck. And actually, the call probably should be a throw-in for Blake, but it's going to be a foul called.
Wow. Okay.
Well, this goes in. Breck might be frustrated. George Stumpfig is out, and he has got questions about this. Henderson and James are over the ball, and in the end, it curls over the top. So, in a way, much ado about nothing, but if that had gone in, that would have been problematic for this game.
Yes.
Parker Sargent is going to come in for Breck. He's going to take the place of Chapman.
Number 2, Parker Sargent.
And we'll keep an eye on Pomonas. I think a family member is coming down to check on his condition as well with the trainer that is here. He's on the bench right now. And not getting treatment, so that's hopefully a good sign.
That's a very good sign.
Carlson for Blake, looking for Shapiro over the top. Gorman intervenes, and Carlson, well, he does not pull back on anything, does he? He goes after the ball. Swung wide for Smits. It's been problematic for Blake down that left-hand side, cutting inside this time. And Henderson there to cut it out. Henderson colliding with Silverman, but the ball rolls all the way through for Landon Peterson. And now Pomonas is being ushered off the bench. First touch for Parker Sargent. Pink for Sargent again. 3 white shirts around him. Able to battle, needed help from Silverman. Lewin Mills stepping up as well. Great turn by Mortensen to get out of trouble. Gorman for the Mustangs sends it along. Maverick Pink down the line. Tyler Holmes dueling with Sargent. Feels he was pulled back. The play goes on. Gorman. Ganev. Now Smits. 2 for company on that far side, and Blake able to take it away. Cleared by Brian Brenner. Silverman. Henderson, how about that? Confident on the ball for a defender, and the Blake fans loved it. Now Mortensen back the other way.
Yeah, 4-on-3 break. Nice takeaway. Wow.
Won the challenge. Now they want to go over the top. Kern outside the box. Dangerous here for the Bears. And 2-2. Walsh Kern catches Blake napping on the long ball after the takeaway by Lewin Mills, and with 32:11 left, we got a tie game.
I want to see that again. I thought he was offside, but
fifth of the year for Kern, and how about the composure there to go around Peterson at the end? Evens this thing up, and here's the ball again. I don't know if he was offside because he ran around the defender.
Yeah. But you have to back it up quite a ways to see. Here's a pass. There's a pass.
And you can see there, he came from 5 yards behind him.
Yep. Nice step around on the defense to put that ball into the open net.
'48th minute, 5th of the year for Kern. How about this game? These two teams have certainly delivered on the entertainment value.
Oh, you can't beat this.
You and I might be the only two people in the building here, well, and our crew, who don't have a horse in this race. Pretty entertaining for us, probably pretty stressful for everybody else here.
Yeah, I just love to watch this. This is just so much fun.
And again, sections being what they are, this won't happen, but this is a game you'd love to see played at US Bank Stadium, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes.
If they meet in a section semifinal or a final, doubt it could happen before that. It will be a game worth seeing as Mortensen picked up the ball and does get the foul call. Not sure I heard the whistle there. Have to be careful with that. I'll keep an eye on CCX Sports to see what the playoff schedule would look like if these two teams would play. Might be a game we would include. I'm not asking for that, but I'm not asking for that.
I hear you.
Just saying, if John Jacobson gives me a call and says, can you cover this game if it's a playoff game? The answer is yes.
Yeah, I'll be here.
As Kern and James coming together. It's a throw-in for Breck. If we thought it was emotional and physical before, we've still got a half hour left.
And anything can happen.
And now they're saying throw in Blake instead of free kick Breck. And as the officials chat, Blake getting on with the play, and the official's going to allow it.
Well, he had not stopped play, so as soon as they were ready, they can take off. These players don't have time to wait for the officials.
Howard Henderson over to take the long throw. Carlson a target, cleared out by Gorman. And now Kern, who scored the equalizer. Whoops. Trying to take on Tyler Holmes. Strong play by the defender that time. Sargent looking for Kern again. Kern has been very central to everything Breck has done here in the second half, even before the goal. Lewin Mills with another excellent sliding challenge that time.
Boy, that was a great sliding tackle.
Holmes is feeling it, but that's two challenges that Lewin Mills has gotten perfect here in the second half. And again, he's on a yellow, so he has to get it right. Now Holmes a little slow to get up. He's going to come off, it looks like. Lundberg is ready to take his place.
Has he got something on the instep or a shoe problem? I can't tell.
He's got a word for the official. And that's all out of the challenge that came from Lewin Mills. Sargent with the flick on. Kern trying to get to it. Two white shirts there. James spun it away. Lundberg puts it out of play, and Breck wants to hustle, but they're going to make a substitution. And Sargent will give way to Spencer Chapman, who scored the first Breck goal a long time ago.
Well, considering the pace of this game, that was a long time ago.
Again, if these two teams are tied after 80, they would play extra time. There would not be a shootout tonight, of course. Foul here called against Blake. They played twice last year during the regular season. Drew both games.
Yeah,
pardon me, a one for Breck, one draw.
Right.
And then, of course, the section semifinal.
And even that went to shootout.
Mentioned the 19-game win streak for Blake and the 22-match unbeaten streak. That includes that draw with Breck, the second matchup last year. So the Mustangs were the bogey, at least until the playoffs for Blake a season ago. This one with a conference title on the line. And section seeding, of course, as well factors into this. Tino Grace and De La Salle will have things to say about that. Lewin Mills to the near side of the box. Peterson able to get there before Chapman.
Peterson again with a big foot.
Interesting, we talked about the fact that Chapman's goal seems like a long time ago. There's actually only 33 game minutes between the two Breck goals, but it felt like an eternity.
Nice breakaway coming through the defense, looking for a man to the outside.
That took a deflection. We're going to get the first Breck corner of the match. Great run there by Cole Kapishki. This is their first attempt.
Yes, it is. It's good now to get to see what their set play looks like on the corner.
Smith's the trigger man. 8 assists this year. Silverman is the obvious target height-wise, but this one's over his head all the way through to Ganev. In terms of height, length, you probably give the edge to Blake just on the eye test. And now a ball popped over the top. Gorman's got some work to do here against Silverman and does it well. Just had to get it away and deal with the consequences later because I said Silverman, but pardon me, it was Mortensen, the other dangerous scorer up front. And another long throw for Howard Henderson.
And Holmes now is back in.
Takes this one short for Mortensen. Quick 1-2, Henderson. Bodied off the ball and illegally, says our official. Coleman McNally called, and Mortensen wants to go quickly. Dangerous spot for a right-footed shooter as Mortensen is to play that 50-50 cross / shot from here. Does just that. Punched away. Kapishki trying to get it away. Comes back out to Mortensen. Oh, that's a very difficult ball for a goalkeeper to deal with, and Evanson did what he could. Looked like he may have in the end had space to catch it, but he didn't know that. This one now chipped through for Ganev, and he's got a step. Ganev took it wide, and maybe a little too wide as Peterson cut down the angle. But what a ball that came through from Chapman.
Good effort, just ran out of angle as Evanstad came back there and forced him out.
Two lightning quick counters from Breck. One that,
look at this, nice play by the keeper.
Peterson is a big kid. He's tough to get around. See, Ganev would like that one back, but he didn't have a whole lot of options as Holmes was able to catch up and at least cut off half the field.
Right, it's like like a goalie in hockey. Get out there and cut the angle down. Did a great job on that.
Henderson.
Ooh, a little bit of a shove, and that's going to be called.
They give it a throw for Breck here. Blake trying to argue that it was deflected out off the Mustangs. Maverick Pink. Pressuring him is Shapiro. Two Shapiros on this Blake team. There's Jake, who we've seen a lot of. Sophomore Drew also on the team. And David Shapiro is an assistant coach. Ganev. A little help from McNally. They almost got the best of James. Now Mortensen and Silverman. Silverman has dropped back into more of a midfield role here. He was a holding midfielder a year ago. Now is playing up front. Overlap here, another opportunity, and put just wide. It is Walsh Kern again. What a setup. Smits and Ganev were both there with the layoff. And Kern frustrated.
Yeah, but that was a great effort. Good setup.
And Pomonis coming back on the field for Blake. Great sign for him.
Yeah, just on. Well, I think if he would have any wider on that, he would have hit the goalkeeper.
That's what Peterson would tell you anyway.
Yep.
They always do.
That's our story, and we're sticking with it, right?
Maverick Pink in trouble. Here's Pomonis chasing him down. Nice ball by Pink to get it out of there with some impetus, and moving forward is McNally.
Whoa.
Came back to him. Carlson will hear about that from the Breck fans.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, it gets really tricky to gauge some of these balls when they hit this artificial turf. They can bounce funny distances up.
It wasn't that long ago that artificial turf for soccer was so rare. Now it's everywhere, especially at the high school level.
Yeah, there's a few around in teams that we cover that still have natural, but not very many.
These schools have had it made that switch at some point. Don't know exactly when, but both of them do have turf now. They had grass before. Pomonis earns the throw, and we'll see if Henderson comes up to take this one. It looks like they're not going to wait for him. But Blake is making a substitution as Casey Shoemate, the senior midfielder, comes back on for Lundberg. Chapman and Shoemate dueling for a ball that had a lot of English on it. Henderson goes back to track this one down. Breck's response here in the second half after going behind late in the first half has been very good. They've had some great chances, and of course they've tied it up. Ganev pressured by Brenner, but holds it up nicely. Looking for a diagonal run from Kern. Got around the keeper, doesn't have much angle, and he'll have to take the corner. Great ball from Ganev. Near the midway point of this second half. Still a lot of game left.
And Breck now with their fourth corner of the half.
In swinger toward the back post, and just getting a hand to it was Peterson, with Gorman waiting right behind him. And they're going to say he didn't touch it.
Oh, really? I thought he did. Okay.
That's what Gorman thinks, and he was closer than anybody. Let's see if this gets a hand.
Yeah,
maybe a knuckle.
A knuckle. Okay.
Tough call for any official, so we'll cut him slack there. Lessoff came out of the game for Blake. That last substitution. And now Silverman is down as he clashed with James. It pops right back up just as the whistle sounds. You can hear the official saying, "Calm down."
Good equipment adjustment.
Silverman looks like he's going to be allowed to stay in the game. They did pop right back to his feet as the whistle was being blown to stop play. Here's the collision. 50-50 ball. James may be just a hair late. Whose ball is it? Breck wanted it back after the restart. They're not going to get it. Boy, there could be some hard feelings after this game on some of this stuff.
It's going to be a lot of second guessing.
Make that hopeful section matchup all that much spicier. Again, there's no guarantee because these are just two of really four excellent teams in the section.
Right, and you won't know until the end of the year when they do the seedings. And that's anybody's guess.
Seeding by the QRF formula, which, as Tom Johnson pointed out, Totino Grace, with so many AA teams on their schedule, get a boost on that. So they have a real inside track on that #1 seed, win or lose. And even with all those AA teams, they're consistently the best team in the Northwest Suburban Conference anyway.
Well, they do have an outstanding program. Also, do these two teams. These schools have been in the thick of it for years.
It was Blake that dethroned Totino Grace in the section final last year, playing a lot of that game with 10 men. Mortensen was red carded in that. So not only down a player, down one of their best. But to get out of this section, no matter who you are, you're going to have to go through the meat grinder.
Yes.
There's going to be two teams in the semis and finals that are capable of beating each other on any given day. De La Salle having a great year this year. They'd be the fourth one. Substitution here for Breck. It's going to be Roberto Ayana coming on for the first time. He'll take the place of Silverman, who's coming off after that challenge. And Pomonis and Chapman giving no quarter as they come for that ball. There's a 50-50 ball in this game. It's one of those situations where you better give your 50 because you're going to get all 50 coming the other way.
That's so true. But the other thing I've been noticing almost the entire match is, have you noticed that there's no midfield play? In soccer, you have a defensive zone, midfield, and an attack zone. I haven't seen any midfield. It's been going that fast.
Too much trend. Well, there is some. It just doesn't last very long.
Yeah, just momentarily.
The windmills with a little bit right here. Lays it off for McNally, and now Chapman. Three white shirts close on him quickly. Lagos spun off by McNally. James with the long ball. Great turn by Shapiro, just couldn't get anything on the ball. Got to Pomonis anyway. Chapman and Pink combined to clear, but only as far as Shoemate.
Got a flag going down here by the AR1.
And got another injured Breck Mustang. And that looks like it's Coleman McNally.
Wonder if he got a cramp. Could be a cramp or a Charlie horse. Trainer down there working on him.
It's certainly a very humid night here, so cramping is
very likely.
Much a possibility.
Yep.
That's for some of these fans who have been standing the whole game, let alone the players. McNally, who's played a lot of minutes, hasn't played the whole match, but close to it.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of folks watching this game in the stands.
Well, it shows you how far high school soccer has come in Minnesota.
Yep. Especially when you got these two programs that have been at each other's throats the entire match.
It's not just the parents and maybe a random aunt or uncle and the bus driver anymore.
Bus driver and the caddy.
And if you want a little extra atmosphere, the Blake fans starting the Skol chant, which of course we know is the Vikings chant here, but it actually has a soccer background before that. The Vikings stole it from the Icelandic national team's fans. They made it famous at the 2016 European Championships, and they made a great run. And they've been doing it forever. I was actually in Iceland last month, and I was about a block away from the national stadium.
Really?
You can just walk up and look in. You don't have to buy tickets in Reykjavik.
Oh, really?
I have pictures of just standing outside the fence. You can see the entire field.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Maybe they close that up on match days. I don't know. I was there when it was empty, but
that'd be something to see.
Handball there against Ayana. And Keegan James in range here from 50 yards. He's already done it once. Yeah, he's famous worldwide for this at this point.
Yeah, not only is it in range, he
looks hungry for it again. And not far away. Hit the top of the net.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. I mean, look how far this is. And it just about sneaks into the upper right corner.
And the way it rippled the net and rolled down the back, I think there were a couple of fans in here who may have thought it went in. Just the way it changed directions.
Yeah, you could hear the gasp.
Ball there intended for Nate Gullickson, a junior who's on for the first time, number 20 in white. Lessoff now, dropping it back for Shoemate. Both teams going slightly deeper into the bench here late in the second half with some fatigue and maybe some minor injuries settling in. You see Ayana, who we hadn't seen all game.
You want to keep your starters fresh for the final push, final 5 or 6 minutes.
Another dangerous ball here, and this is Gullickson, who just came on. Defended well on that far side of the field.
And I believe that's the first corner for the Blake Bears in the second half.
Cole Kapishki was the one who made that play, and he had to do it. So moving over is Pomonis to take this corner. Seen both teams come within inches from corners in this match. You just get the feeling there is a goal out there somewhere for somebody. You just don't know which side at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen in the last 45, 50 seconds.
That is a bold prediction.
That's not a prediction, it's just a guess. It's just the way these teams are playing, they can explode on you. And when it gets down to crunch time, it's going to be full speed ahead.
James over the top. Pomonis is the target. Still loose and still dangerous. We haven't quite cleared it yet as Mortensen is just pinballing around in the Breck area, and they're able to clear. And now they've got a counter chance as Smits.
Good counter going here, 2-on-2, now it's a 2-on-3.
Able to jog past one. He's got Kern in support. He also has Chapman.
Oh, he had the numbers and couldn't get the ball over there. Nice defensive play by Blake.
Still alive here for Smits. He is tough to get off the ball. They're able to work it away from him there. And now Gullickson. Hustling back was Ganev. And the free kick will go Breck's way. 12 minutes exactly remaining. Interesting to see if we get Silverman back on at some point. Not sure how much he was affected by the challenge or if he just needed a break. Looks like he and McNally were getting treatment at the same time. They're both coming back for water now. So we'll keep an eye on that Breck bench. Ayana looking for a flick on. Kern was in the dangerous spot. And Maverick Pink will guide that one out of play. Pomonis nearly guides him into the training table. Down the line looking for Kern again. Support from Chapman, Ganev. Turning away from two defenders, and then he had to deal with Henderson. Lewin Mills. That one rolled out of play off of Maverick Pink's foot. Jake Shapiro is going to come back on for Blake. It should be noted, these two teams, we saw some cards and some maybe risk of players getting out of hand late in the first half. In the second half with the game on the line, they've been very composed.
Yeah.
That shows some real quality. Pink is taking a knee here because they're trying to get him off the field and have McNally come back on. Now he will come off.
Well, I'm wondering if the coaches had a chat with the players at halftime saying, you know, all these fouls are turnovers and they're hurting us.
Ganev, far side for Smits, had to reach behind him.
Looking for some help, he gets it on the far side.
Kapishki, Kern, closed by the defense quickly. Lewin Mills trying to chase it. Lessoff now playing as an attacker. He started this game in central defense. versatility out there from a lot of players. Silverman is about to come back in for Breck. Jake Silverman. He will replace Ayana. Not right now, however, because it is Blake's throw. Space here for the Mustangs. Ganev. Smits again out wide. Reverses for Ganev. Nice. Kern. Quick 1-2 touch, looking for the pullback, and too many white shirts there.
Yeah, he got double teamed right by the goal line, or the end line.
Now Silverman can come on. Placing Ayana. Long throw option towards Silverman. Mentioned he's the height. Chapman pops it up over the top. Well, don't forget to vote for the CCX Sports Play of the Week. Each week we choose 4 top plays, and you, our viewers, vote to decide the play of the week. To vote, go to ccxmedia.org, then click Sports and Play of the Week. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Maple Grove. Saw those plays at halftime. Sticking with my pick. To go online when I get home and vote. One-handed interceptions just don't grow on trees.
You like that one, okay.
They're all good plays, but that's mine. Although, if I was going to pick the one that I couldn't do, it's the dive.
I like that dive.
If I do that, awesome. I hit my head on the diving board. Here's Silverman.
I'd fall off the diving board.
Still at it here as that ball never went out of play along the byline.
It's still in play.
Carlson is there. Cuts it back, but only white shirts as it's cleared away by Henderson. I think a lot of players thought that had gone out and sort of stopped. Just now getting back into speed. Ganev. Lewin Mills looking for Silverman. Missed kick by Carlson, but right back to his goalkeeper. Ganev now down that left wing. For Kern, who's had a great second half. Bodied off the ball by Mortensen. Blake looking to counter. Shapiro and Kapishki come together. It is a throw-in for the Mustangs. We're trying to get Callum Bristow back into the game. And now we've got a bear down and cramping, and I think that's Keegan James. He will be replaced, at least briefly, by Gullickson.
Well, he's running off, so nothing serious. Needs a little bit of a breather.
Gorman to take the throw on the far side. Into the middle, and Kern is alone in there. His first touch taken away by Carlson, who wants to go quickly. And coming out is Evanstad. Mortensen collects the clearance, however, and shrugs off Ganev. Can't get past Lewin Mills.
Well, you can tell it's been a physical game. Their bodies all over the field.
Been very impressed with some of the escapability we've seen some of these players in tight spaces. Just saw it from Lewin Mills. We've seen Henderson put on a clinic at times.
Yeah, like we were remarking before, it's just amazing how quick all the players react. It's just astounding.
And that is certainly improved over time. The foot skills that players have now at this age, light years ahead of even maybe 15 years ago. Silverman.
Skies
on
that
the turn.
One.
Fatigue maybe starting to catch up with these two teams a little bit. The last few minutes have been maybe the most ragged we've seen. Players are spread out a little bit more now. See if anybody has the energy to muster a late one.
Yeah, we're down to the last 5 minutes.
Bristow's header, Silverman. Cut off by Lesov. Now Mortensen running at the defense here. Looking wide for Gullickson. Mortensen's got it back. A very dangerous player and an inch-perfect challenge by Gorman.
Gorman made a great takeaway there.
And now Smith's going back the other way, and that ball popped up. It looked like it might have hit him in the hand. The referee brought the whistle to the mouth and then let it go. Blake able to take it away anyhow. And Lewin Mills. Clever scoop there, and it eventually comes back to him. Gorman closed down quickly. Pomonis now has some time and space. Able to line one up, and he didn't miss by much. And once again, it was an attacker catching a defender on the ball, and now Pomonis down, and he may have some cramp. And these Blake players played last night when it was as hot as tonight.
Probably hotter, but I think today is a little bit more humid.
And it was, by all accounts, a pretty spirited game.
I wouldn't expect anything less, not from this team.
Very fast-paced. And now we've got a Breck player. Needs some stretching. We may just need to have everybody take a minute, get a stretching partner,
and go for it.
We're ready to go now, and Gorman puts it back into play. Ricochets off 3 or 4 heads. So Pomonis came off out of all that. The Breck player who was stretching, I believe, was McNally, and he's still in. And now a run for Bristow, who might be a little fresher than some others. He hasn't played a ton. Taking on Lesov. Carlson coming over, low cross in, and Peterson will go to a knee. Quickly fired back out towards Shapiro. Smits is going to make this a difficult play, and he wins the ball back. Away from Shoemate, who's got a hold of him, and eventually the foul is called. The official was trying to see if Breck came out of the fracas over there with the ball, but he didn't have advantage to play, and it's a free kick for the Mustangs in a dangerous spot. Lewin Mills wants it. It's amazing he hasn't cramped up the way he's run tonight.
He looks like he's gassed.
Silverman and Henderson are shoulder to shoulder toward the penalty spot. Knotted down. It went right over the head of Silverman, and he couldn't spin quickly enough to get a foot to it, but it is a corner for the Mustangs. Look where this ball drops, and Silverman may have not, well, I guess it was a little farther away from him than I thought. But they do get the corner out of it. Smits high arcer toward the back post. Gorman, that ball is loose and down, and Peterson finally falls on it. One of his own players swinging at it in front of him. Bowled out and taken right away again. Shoemate clears. Mustangs putting the pressure on with 2 minutes left. And Sig Ligry has guaranteed a goal in the final 45 seconds.
No, he hasn't. It's going to be interesting at crunch time. But
guaranteed.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's Kern. Can he oblige you here late? Spins off the side of his foot. Bristow brings it back to his left, and then
couldn't get
just miskicked it.
Oh my goodness!
Well,
took a left foot on it and didn't connect.
Rate that amongst the plays that players will see tonight in their sleep. Especially if this game stays 2-2 as it's cleared. Lewin Mills. Great pullback. Bristow, everything but put it away there. He did have a shooting lane. Clearance that time from Scheidemann. Lesov. Mortensen. Does he have the speed to get past Lewin Mills? Shoulder to shoulder they go. Great pullback.
Oh,
just over the head. Shapiro the target there, down to the final minute. Lesoff closing is Bristow. And it's cleared towards Silverman, who is onside. Henderson hustles back to meet him, only as far as Ganev.
Here's crunch time.
Wide for Bristow again, looking for redemption. Again, pulls it back onto that left foot, takes the shot off the chest of Henderson. Ganev slices his left foot attempt.
See it again.
There's the first one.
That was nice. Oh, just could not get to it. He had an opening.
And here's at the other end. Look at this cross, just a little high for Shapiro. And we're down to the final 12. Flipped forward towards Lagos. Ball still loose, and Evanstad will claim it. And it's going to take more than 80 tonight between these two teams who are so close to each other. And a nice handshake there between Evanstad and Lagos. Again, these players all know each other very well from outside of school and club soccer and all of that.
And it's interesting because when they are playing on the field and they're going after the ball or after each other, it's a war. But if anybody's hurt or pushed down, the concern is right there. You saw Gorman earlier, very emotionally upset that his friend was injured. And that's what makes this rivalry so awesome.
So it's 2-2 after 80. We will step aside. Extra time is on the way between Breck and Blake.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Start of overtime here from McKnight Field at the campus of Breck. And it was interesting, Sig, to look at the two huddles before this extra session. Blake, who of course played a game last night. It was a tough game. They were all just trying to stretch, get as much water as they could. And on the Breck side, pep rally. They were fired up. Team huddle. We'll see which approach wins here in extra time.
Although I did see about 3 or 4 Breck players working on legs of their teammates.
Breck players are out. You saw the Blake huddle. That is a live shot. They are taking as much time as they need, about 10 seconds still on the clock. 2 5-minute halves, and we will play both. There is no golden goal scenario. Of course, it's different once you get to the section playoffs. Then it would be 2 10-minute halves with the golden goal preceding penalties. No penalties tonight, no matter what. So we can have a draw. Which would make the conference standings a little tricky for these two teams.
What does that do to the standings?
Oh, I'm sure there are complicated tiebreakers, and I don't know them.
I think it goes to goals of no, I don't know.
goals against common opponents on weekdays, night games.
Right. On the third equinox, depending if there are 3 squirrels fighting and a dog walking behind
You're playing through 3 equinoxes. That is a long season.
I know. In other words, we have no idea.
It'll be Breck to start with the ball. They'll move right to left, and we are underway in extra time. Lewin Mills. And they want to go right over the top, right off the bat, aiming for Silverman, who is back up top for this team, and here comes Smits again.
Wow, another collision. Blake comes out with the ball.
Now Mortensen. Ahead for Shapiro. He's got an option wide. Ganev hustling back. Shapiro able to ride that challenge, and that ball nearly hit off the feet of Scheidemann. It is a goal kick.
Goal kick.
Blake. Two here in overtime. James back on the field. He cramped up late in that second half. And a lot of soccer to be played for these Lake Bears in the span of about 25 hours. Their only reprieve, and this is about as minor as it gets, as they started a half hour later tonight than last night.
That's not much reprieve. Here comes Breck.
Doesn't do a whole lot for you. Kern, the layoff, and I think Chapman expecting shot. Kern might have had an option. Unselfish play.
Yeah, I didn't see where that was developing.
He has had a fantastic second half, and of course scored the goal 8 minutes into the second half that tied this at 2. Flick on now for Mortensen. Nice step up on the play by Cole Kopishki. Kopishki didn't start this match, but has played a lot of it, especially in the second half. He's made some vital challenges for Breck. He was one of the options that George Stumpfig gave us to fill in for the ill Nassim Kushner tonight for the Mustangs. Foul called against Kopishki right as we talk about him. And now here comes Keegan James. And I looked at Evanstad. As James was approaching the ball, he is ready for a shot.
Yeah, it's going to be a shot. There's no question. It's going to be a shot.
Well, he was ready for a quick shot. He's not taking any time to set anybody up. He knows James might just go for it as soon as the whistle allows him to. Official did pause the play on this one. James floating it toward the back post, and this one will be high. I like what he does because especially we saw that on the goal he scored in the first half. It was a shot, but it wasn't. It was a shot with options.
And then when we saw that went over the top of the net earlier in the corner.
And there's our man Matthew Carlson again, who was kind of the runner on that goal that was scored in the first half. Foul called against James as he went over the top of Ganev. Quickly played for Kern. Smits is wide left. One-on-one now with Shoemate. Tricky ball, and Breck wins it.
Nope.
Yes, they do. Silverman tucked it home. But pardon me, they haven't yet.
No.
I'm in golden goal mode, and we don't have it. But it is 1:41 remaining in this first overtime session. Breck leads 3-2. I apologize. But the Mustangs with Silverman, set up by Smits. What a ball here again from Ralph Smits. Silverman gets his 16th of the year. And again, I apologize for the early declaration of victory.
Well, it's okay. We get excited here.
But they've got 6.5 minutes to deal with now.
And Breck maintains control of the ball.
Well, we'll see how many chances Blake gets to even this thing back up. A score ping-ponging back and forth. 1-0 Breck. It was 2-1 Blake. Now it's 3-2 Breck.
Under a minute to go in the first 5 minutes section.
I would imagine, I didn't look this up, but I would imagine it has been a few years since Blake lost back-to-back games.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Doesn't happen for either of these teams too often. Ganev on the run now. That was very near the edge of the box. And now we are getting a point to the spot. Help from the assistant referee on the far side. And the referee originally was going to let it go and then pointed to the spot. Let's see. James with the shove. I'm not sure that happened inside the box. Well, that's the other thing they have to look at. It's tough to see the lines there.
Well, he's spotting it there. Now checking with the official. Let's see it again. Where did this occur? Well, about, let's see, it's outside.
It's going to be given as a penalty.
Okay. It'll be a PK.
And it's going to be Ganev who earned it to try to make it a 4-2 lead in extra time.
Should be huge for Breck if they can convert this.
Steps up and goes under Peterson, and it is 4-2. Now, if they hadn't won it before, they may have a hammerlock on it now. Whether you think it was a penalty or not, and our replays showed it looked like the foul occurred outside the box.
I know it initiated outside the box. It probably finished inside or just inside, but that's what the AR2 does for you. Because she was right there watching it and went over and talked to the center referee, gave her view of it.
There's the penalty. Perfectly placed. Peterson went the right way, and if he hadn't maybe been expecting a higher shot, he may have gotten a hand to it. He did everything he could, but that was an excellent penalty from Ganev.
They are so, well, you know better than I do. Those are so difficult for the keeper to stop those.
Now you're worried about direction more than height. That's the end of the first session of extra time. Not over yet, despite what I say. Breck leads 4-2, and Ganev's penalty may have put the icing on the cake here. The teams will switch ends quickly here. Breck coming over for water, but I don't think they're technically supposed to leave the field.
Or they just switch positions and go. As soon as the keepers are in position, the center referee should be signaling to start. So we're going to have a few seconds waiting for keeper to get down there. That's a long haul when you're tired.
And nearly 6 years to the day since Blake beat Breck in a regular season game. September 20th, 2013. When these seniors were 6th graders. And it looks like that streak's going to continue. And of course, I don't think that bothers them too much because they did win the playoff battle last year and they have a state title under their belts, but it is an interesting stat.
Right, and it also makes a big, well, it should make a big difference in the seedings for the section playoffs. Granted, there are other players involved in that scenario.
And you wonder about the legs here for Blake in extra time. They saw a lot of their players stretching. They looked exhausted in the huddle. And they gave up the goal in which Silverman just sort of outstretched a couple of defenders. And then the penalty on the foul that may have been caused by some tired legs. James colliding there with Chapman. The ball the chase for Henderson, who's now moving up the field to offer an extra skilled player in attack. One player who's not out there for the Mustangs right now is Pomonis, who not only has taken a shot to the head, but has also been cramping up all night. He's on the sidelines right now, and I think the Cavs just gave out on him. You can see him there as Henderson steps up to take the long throw. Comes through to the back post, nodded back out. James on the volley and is charged down by Walsh Kern. Long throw again as Henderson came to the far side. Genev will get to this. Shoved off the ball by Henderson. Foul called against the Bears. And Genev with the penalty maybe seal this game, but he's had a very strong game all night long.
Yeah, there's so many players on both sides that have had really good, strong games.
Smits can go to the corner with this. Kill a few seconds if he wants to put it in the middle. That's his choice, but instead he will earn a corner, and that will allow the Mustangs to bleed some clock here with under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, they can eat off a good 45, 50 seconds.
Official wants the clock stopped to make sure they don't do that.
That's the catch. If you start stalling,
we may actually have an injury situation here as well. One of the Blake players in the corner is...
He's kind of huddled over. I don't know if he's injured. Oh, now we have a yellow card.
Yellow card will go against Genev for time wasting, I would assume. So he has to come off and will be replaced by Ayana.
He may have said something to the referee. I don't know. He's not happy about it.
Well, I think you saw him cross his arms, which is the signal for the clock stop.
Yeah.
I think he thought the clock was stopped, and so he could do whatever he was doing. Can't time waste when time is stopped, is his argument. Time, no matter what happened there, still on the side of the Mustangs with 2.5 to play and a 2-goal lead thanks to 2 in the first half of extra time. One from Genev from the penalty spot and one from Silverman, and a great cross by Smits, who, as we mentioned, had 8 assists coming in. He has 2 tonight. Coming out for Blake is Shungu Zimbwa, number 23, making his first appearance of the night, a sophomore. Lewin Mills keeping that in play along the far side. And it looks like it's the Mustang fans will have the last shout here on their home field. And again, this essentially, unless something drastic happens, I believe would seal up the IMAC title for Breck. I don't believe they have. Well, they don't. This would seal it. They don't have any conference games left, these two teams.
Right, this is the conference championship right here.
And won in dramatic fashion.
And what an exciting match this has been. This has been one for the books.
And again, it's not guaranteed. It's highly possible, but not guaranteed. These two teams would meet again in the playoffs with seasons on the line. And
but wouldn't that be something to watch?
If you're a soccer fan,
that's one to watch.
Just find your way there, wherever that game may be. It wouldn't necessarily be at one of these two schools. In fact, I believe there's no way it could be.
No.
Or a foul or not. Carlson and Chapman coming together. Mortensen slicing his way through defenders. Lewin Mills.
Oh, he called a foul against.
Mortensen coming together. Called a throw-in, I believe, for Breck.
1 minute. 1 minute remaining.
Breck ball, and Tamba Johnson's got his head in his hands here. He wanted a foul against his number 19. Carlson. Cleared long by Kern. And Blake had only allowed 3 all season, 4 tonight. Kern down the far side with 23 seconds left. Taken away by Carlson, but time running out on the Bears as it's won back by Chapman. Kern back to the middle.
Under 10 seconds.
Breck is going to move to 9-2. Blake will fall to 9-2 as Mortensen from well out. Evanstad knocks it down. Time runs out. And the Breck Mustangs are the 2019 IMAC champions. And they've won this round of the rivalry in dramatic fashion. 4-2 in extra time.
As we've been saying all match long, it's been fierce, competitive, aggressive, fast pace, lots of good scoring. Everything you could ask for a good match for a conference championship. This is what you want.
And the players will shake hands knowing that they may see each other again. Remember this Blake team that hadn't lost in almost a year. Now it's actually just over a year, now 2 in 2 days, and they are exhausted and a little frustrated, I would imagine.
I would imagine so. But they played a great game as the handshaking takes place.
There's the trophy that the Mustangs will get tonight. Again, the conference season over. 5 games is all you get, a 6-team conference. And what a finale in conference play as these two teams went at each other all night long. And it took really everything both teams had to end up at this result.
Yeah, I think the first goal in overtime was really the nail in the coffin, because at that point you can see Blake kind of getting a little bit crestfallen, a little bit down, and they have to be exhausted from playing 2 solid games back to back. Give credit to the Breck Mustangs. They came out really fired up in that overtime. As you were saying, they were huddled up and getting excited, and they came out strong and managed to get the victory.
Well, they're all together shaking the hands of the officials. They want to get their hands on the trophy that is lurking around somewhere. It is just behind them. And they will have it, the 2019 IMAC Conference Title Trophy. They'd like another one that looks similar to that. They give that one away late October, early November at US Bank Stadium. Long way to go to get there for both of these teams. Again, just getting out of this section 5A, is the championship in and of itself.
It is. It's a long struggle, long road.
Well, they're getting the lecture before they get the trophy. I think they just want the trophy.
Yeah.
A heck of a game tonight again. It was 1-0 Breck early. Then it was 2-1 Blake just before the half. Walsh-Kern with the equalizer early in the second half. And then 2 in the first 5 minutes of extra time for Breck. And by then there was just no gas left in the tank for the Bears.
It certainly looked that way to me, because really took the wind out of the sail.
A blank space left for the team picture, and it'll probably be this picture as they're taking right now. The Breck Mustangs win it 4-2 in extra time. For Sig Ligry and our entire CCX crew, here's some highlights of the game tonight. What a game it was. 4-2 Mustangs in extra time on CCX Sports. Good night, everybody.